Today we're dissecting something that is fundamentally changing social media, micro trends, but not just what they are. We are going to look at how they catch on, how they fall off, and if businesses should even be participating in trends altogether. First, let's define what we're talking about. A micro trend is a cultural moment that captures a massive amount of attention for a short period of time. Think about this like Andy Warhol's famous concept of the 15 minutes of fame. And these trends share a few key characteristics. One, they spread across multiple platforms very quickly. Two, they generate massive amounts of user participation. And three, they fade out almost as quickly as they rise in popularity. And there are plenty of examples, from the corn kid to 6'5" man in finance to Hawk Tuah to Demure, which if you're watching this and all of those, you're saying, what are they? It'll make my point. They are all moments that took over the internet for sometimes a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, where everybody was talking about it, emulating it, or participating in that trend, and then they faded away like that. So let's break down why this happens. First, we need to look at trends and why they move so quickly now, opposed to previous trends pre-internet. And it really comes down to media fragmentation. In the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, really before commercial internet took over, everything was gatekept. From our news to our music to the TV shows we watched, we all culturally would go and collectively watch Friends on a Thursday night. And maybe that would spawn a trend or things that we would all talk about. That would infiltrate society at large. That trend would last for a decent amount of time and then fade out as the next trend came in. But something happened that fundamentally changed how trends and society interact forever. And that was the increased fragmentation of media, particularly YouTube and social media. Two, anybody, celebrity or not, could upload content and that content could go viral at an almost seemingly random occurrence. So now, without the lack of a shared channel that we all ingest for our media, we have our own individual feeds, the algorithm that's feeding us content based on our interest. So there isn't this one shared moment that we're all going to talk about. There are literally thousands, millions of micro moments that are happening on all of our feeds with different content types that are served to us: podcasts, newsletters, social media, video, etc. So what happens when something cuts through the noise and really actually pierces into that cultural zeitgeist, gets out of the bubble, and starts to become something we all pay attention to? Well, it's interesting. Psychology gives us a couple reasons why those specific trends raise in popularity and why people participate in them.